Hello, it's Katie again, and I wanted to bring you Halloween card number 4. I have done some prepping because it was going to be a lot to show you. So I stamped and die cut these two guys out from this set. I do not remember what it is called. The name is not printed on there, so I'm not quite sure which one it is, but it's a very cute Halloween set from Newton's Nook. And then I have a regular card base here. And then I used the Lawn Fawn, like inverted stitched rectangle scallop thingies. I used the third one in to cut out this. It's going to be a shaker card. So I have some paper. I think it's from one of the big 12 by 12 packs I bought, maybe at Michael's. I can't remember who makes it, but I cut it out of the center there, and then I also cut the same thing out of some fun foam, and I realized it was just a little too close and you could see the green through the scallops, and so the stitched impression actually was easy to rip anyway, so I cut it out of fun foam, cut this down to a little bit smaller than the card base, which is the same size as this. And then I just, I was able to like rip that off. So I do need to stick down some acetate first for our window. So I have that kind of loose in some sheets. I just bought a bunch of sheets, I think from my local craft store years ago. And I haven't gone through them. So they're all separated with like tissue paper. So I think what I'm gonna do, just because it's clean right off the tissue, is just stick it down because I've run some tape runner, and then I'm going to trim just in a little bit. This probably isn't the best way to do this, but it's happening. So, and then because I stick them all over. So I'll just pull it, we'll just tear that piece off, how about that? And then just pull it in a little bit. I can use the scissors actually to help me. So we'll save those for other windows in the future. Okay, so now I have a window down. Should probably tear that piece off. Okay, so I've got a window for my shaker. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'll still use this fun foam frame that I created, but I need more, so I'm probably still going to use foam tape. Again on top of that, because it's going to be, this is not tall enough. So I'll just center this around that. I'm still within the card. I think I'll trim a little bit here. It's a little too long. Improvising along the way. So I do have that, but then I will still take some fun foam, or not fun foam, sorry, my 3M tape, and run that along here so that it's got the extra lift, and hopefully, I haven't done this before, so hopefully the 3M will stick to the fun foam okay. And then this one I'll just stick in here sideways, and I'll just make sure to press it down a little extra. So for the inside of the shaker, I have a few, not a few, I mean I have 3 more to color, but I had to cut out a lot of these. I just used my little sidekick. So this was a lot to do, so I started coloring a bunch of those. Those are from Hello Bluebird, 2 different stamp sets from the recent release, because I thought their candies were really cute. This Newton's Nook stamp set has a, sorry, that was loud, a which way is which way to the candy sentiment that I'll be using, and I just realized I probably should have stamped that on there, but I'll be fine. I'll use Versa Fine ink, and it's easy to stamp because it's pigmented, and then I'll do embossing powder. But this one doesn't have any candy in it, even though it has a which way to the candy. So no little pieces of candy, so I went with the Hello Bluebird sets for that. And I'm wondering if this 3M foam tape, I might need to cut a little thinner. I don't want to waste any of the pieces there. So I'm going to just pause while I cover the back of this. I just want to make sure it's coated, and then I'll probably end up doing this at the end, so that's going to be an experiment. So I'll pause while I finish putting more 3M tape down. Okay, so I have all the fun foam on the back of it. The fun foam, sorry, and the 3M foam tape. And then before I put this stuff in, I use a little paintbrush and my embossing buddy bag. Some people have the little squeezer bottle that has powder in it and a brush on the end. So I just brush the inside edges with that so that the mix inside, the sequins and the other stuff, don't stick to... I want to make sure there's not a whole lot of stickum. Also, there's some leftover tape runner, so I just want to make sure I cover all of it. The edges of the foam tape, but I do also have tape runner that needs to be de-stickified. So hopefully that is good. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to put the candies in upside down because obviously we want to see those on the front. The candies are going to be a lot of it, so I'm just going to mix in a few sequins. I haven't decided any colors yet. I don't have mixes, and I have some Halloween mixes from Cat Scrappiness on the way. Which I'm excited about, so hopefully I'll do some shaker cards with those. These little things are like tiddlywinks. They keep wanting to flick everywhere. I hope that this is deep enough to hold those, and I'm going to have to stick the card base on top of that, but I'll only probably want to use little ones, so I have a few little white ones I'll put in there. And then maybe some, I think I might just match the candy. I'm not sure this will match the background that well, but the candy is like blues and pinks and some purples. So hopefully it still looks okay with the orange on the front. Okay, so that should be good for that. And then for the front of the card, before we put those guys and stamp the sentiment, I'm going to stand up and try and eyeball this to match up. We want the tops to match, and usually the rest can take care of itself. Hopefully I didn't mess up any of the sequins or the candies while I was pressing that down. Oh, you know what? I always do this too, but oh well. I suppose it's still cute. I was going to ink blend behind here in the background, but it's okay because I don't know what color would have gone with that. I probably could have done like some purple or just a couple purples or something, but I've forgotten that twice now. On the very first card I did, I think it was card number 1. Yeah, no, I think I did a card before that I wasn't calling my Halloween card series, but, or I posted it anyway. I think it's only on my Instagram, not on my YouTube. But I forgot to do something in the background, so it was very kind of bland looking, and it was also a craft colored background, like craft cardstock, so it was just light brown. But this is okay. They move around pretty well. I probably could have added even more sequins, but I like the little candies floating around in the background. So I'm going to stamp the sentiment and try and get that part done smoothly. So I'm going to use my Embossing Buddy static bag to make sure it doesn't stick anywhere else. And then we're going to use black ink and clear powder. So I have my clear, I've already got the ink, and then I will plug in my heat gun. Okay, so I have that ready. So I will take the VersaFine ink, make sure that's the right side. And I've got a lot of support under here, so I'm not worried about the stamping pressure. And the VersaFine is pigment, so it's a little inkier than normal, kind of like a creamy ink. And then I need printer. This is my version of coffee filters. Everyone seems to use those, but I bought a whole thing of printer paper just for this purpose. So this works for me. I'm just gonna fold this out so I don't get any powder anywhere other than where I'm trying to. I don't want to get any stuck in these stitch crevices either. So we'll put this back in there. Save that for the next project. Alright. And no matter how clean I think I'm being, I always have powder when I'm done. So I'm just going to check and make sure, and it is just clear. It's not like white or anything, so I don't have to worry too much about powder getting somewhere else. So we'll go ahead and melt this. I'm going to heat up my gun just for a little bit so it's extra hot so I don't spend so much time, because it might lift up some of the adhesive. And I realized I could very well be warping or melting the acetate to the plastic window. Don't do things out of order, folks. Plan your card first. It appears to be fine. This was curling up a little bit, but it's okay. All right, so I have that on there. We are good. And then I just need to color these guys and put them on there. And I was thinking of placing them here and then here once they're colored, and I think that should be good enough. I thought about maybe putting some candies around, but I don't know exactly where I would place them. So, and I've already cut all of them and they're all inside anyway, so I think I'll just stick with those two. So I'll show you some of the coloring. The video isn't too long as of right now. I was gonna try and color this guy as like a calico, like my cat, and I don't know her exact pattern. I know that she's got some like orange over her face, but I'm not sure how that would go. I need to practice calico coloring because there are a lot of white as well that I just wouldn't touch. I think I will do him gray since he's right next to orange pumpkins. He might just be an orange cat. So I have the C7, C5, C3. I'll probably go down to C2. So I'll start with some C7 on the tips of his ears and under his little face. I need to come down more like that, rather than just doing these lines. It doesn't come out looking that natural. So I'll do some like that, and some from there, and then this side. And then I will do some C5 and come out even more. I'm going to pause for a second because my husband just got home. I can hear him coming in with lunch. Hang on one sec. Okay. So we'll take C5, drag some of that color down. And then I may only go to C3 as the lightest color. 3 is usually good for a blend. I've only been using 2 on like my witch hats, the V17 and V15. But this should be, I'll drag this a little further in. Oops, I went in his ear. His ear will be pink. Should probably cover that now. Oh, that's a bright pink. I thought I grabbed a lighter one. Oh well. And you can usually, like I've mentioned before, bleed out any, you can just hold the marker there longer. Bleed out any gray that snuck in there. Color his nose too. So then C3 will probably be the rest of this. So we'll bring it down from here and then also blend this out this way. He's kind of spotty looking, but that's okay. Keep blending as long as you want. And then just down here for the rest of his legs. And you can just take your lightest color, go over the darkest color again, and just keep blending. Okay. Oh, he has a butt too. Okay. So the 3 colors I'm going to use on the pumpkin, the YR07 for the darkest orange. I'll try and do the edges and maybe go over the lines, since these pumpkins have lines. That may blend out anyway. And then I'll just use a bright yellow for the inside, and I'll probably use glossy accents for those just because it makes it look like it's glowing. So I will pause while I finish this coloring as well. Okay, so I finished coloring his butt with the same colors, the C7, C5, and C3. And then, I don't know if I mentioned, the 3 oranges I used for the pumpkins were YR07, YR16, and Y38, just to kind of blend that out, and I think the lines worked pretty well. And then just a bright yellow Y08 for the inside. I'll use glossy accents on that after I put it down on the card. And then I just used a couple blues for the bird and a little orange on his beak. So that one will go here. So I'll stick him down now. so that should be enough. I just want to make sure he's not covering too much of the window, but that he's in a good spot. Alright, so I'll show you some of the coloring for this one. I will shade the broom. I'm using E57. Should be the darkest one. And I think I'll do him orange. We'll do this here too. I'll do a little gray on this little piece here just so it looks like a silver part, maybe. And then actually I'll use the Y38. It's probably a little too orange, and the Y08 that I have out, and just kind of blend those together for the broom. And if I just blend it long enough, then it works. So I'll use E37, which almost seems darker than the E57, but that's okay. And then let's see, E57. I can't see. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's a little. It could just be my marker being old, because I'm pretty sure that one's old. So then I'll use E33. That one's called Sand, to just blend out the rest of the broom. And I'll just go right from E57 to E33 on this part. Blend out more here. I'll take E37, just do a little bit around there, just to give it a little more. Sorry, I'm not zoomed in here. Okay. So then for him, I'll probably do a similar shade to the pumpkins. He's going to be a very orange cat, and I'll do the purple and green witch hat. I'll do more of a fleck outwards for that blending. Tip of his tail. Make sure I get his toes. And then under his tummy. And then we'll go under his hat. And then YR16, I'll zoom in a little bit for this part here. Blend some of that out. He can be a mostly light colored kitty. And then just do most of the blending with Y38. Oops. And just make his nose pink later. I've also colored him before with the Zig Clean Color markers, and I generally use the oranges on him, and it kind of comes out looking the same. I need to practice the blending on those a little more too, and I might work on using them without water. So just blending the markers themselves. I do just only have, I think, the 24 pack, so it's not as many different shades of, you know, greens or oranges and things like that to actually blend just with each other. But I can work on that, or just maybe use less water. And so I think for, I don't know, for his tummy, I'm trying to think what's even lighter. I have a Y17. I'm gonna take a break and look for that really quick. Okay, so I finished his body there, and then I'm gonna use Y17 and then blend the rest out with Y35, which is lighter than Y17. It was lighter on my chart, so that works. And then there's a few little orange that kind of went over the line a little bit. So if you just press right where they are, you can kind of bleed them out with the lighter marker, and then they go away. That usually works for me. Or if I'm just using G17 and G14 for the band here, just blend those together. Also, if you have some that went outside, you can use your colorless blender and do the same thing, kind of push it back in. You don't want to do it too much, but just enough to make it go back in a little bit, where you're just pushing out the color with the clear colorless blender. And then I have my V17 and V15 for the purples on the witch hat. I'll just do half on that one. Then just keep blending those. Until it looks good to you. So just on this right here, I'll show you with the colorless blender, if I can spot it. So the colorless blender, I feel like everyone who has Copics or collects Copics at all probably has. It's the 0 marker. Just kind of hold it at the edge of something that bled out, or like a little purple here, and it kind of just goes away. You just don't want to go too far into your image with that. Or like in between his toes there. Kind of push that back in, or at least fade it a little bit if it's something really obvious. So I will put my markers back, and then we will, I'll zoom out, sorry. We will stick this guy down. Make sure we've got some on the broom and a little right there. All right. So I just want to position him just right. All right. And then I will show you, sorry, glossy accents on the pumpkin faces. And then that will be it. I don't think I'll add any candy to the border or anything. I may end up doing that later or another day. But I think the background is pretty busy as it is, and there's plenty of candy in the middle, so I haven't decided. But your brightest yellow inside pumpkin faces and glossy accents will give it a good glow. I'm sure you can also use like an embossing clear ink pen. Lawn Fawn just made one. They have existed before though. I have one. I don't use it. But you could draw the clear embossing pen in the faces and use Lawn Fawn's glow in the dark embossing powder, and then that way it could be little glow in the dark faces if you wanted to hold it up to the light. This one really just makes them look kind of shining, but I think that would be a cute idea as well. So that is it for the card. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will have another one soon. Thanks, bye.